Put on the glasses, I'm Clark Kent. Take off the glasses, I'm Superman. Clark Kent, Superman. Clark Kent, Superman. Philadelphia Eagles bulldozed my Tennessee Titans 35-10 in a game that was as awful as the score. I know because I watched most of the game before it got switched over to the entertaining, thrilling, close game between the Giants and the Commanders that the Giants ended up winning. Anyways, obviously I was proven very wrong about my game prediction because I predicted the Tennessee Titans would defeat the Philadelphia Eagles in a thrilling close game, 35-27. The Titans defense would pressure Hurts. That didn't happen. Not even close. That was hugely proven wrong. Another thing was hugely proven wrong was also Titans defeat the Eagles in a thrilling game, 31-27. Also hugely proven wrong because the Eagles bulldozed the Titans 35-10. Also hugely proven wrong was the Titans would pressure Hurts, which was also hugely proven wrong since he threw for more than 180 yards without struggle. He had a large amount of time to throw. I also said that the Titans would protect the football, which mostly they did. They did turn it over once, so it wasn't completely. So they mostly did that, even though they had one turnover. So not exactly a detail isn't completely. I don't think it's completely wrong. Mainly, even the fact that they had one turnover, mainly because they did a mostly successful job of protecting the football, since they only had one turnover. Except, of course, that was fruitless because the Titans' defense couldn't pressure Hurts at all during this game. He had a large amount of time to throw. He threw for 180 yards. Easily threw for more 100 yards and multiple touchdowns. And he was running for valuable yards when he had to or when could see the opportunity to run for valuable yards. Looking like Donovan McNabb in his prime, that great Eagles quarterback. Also, yeah, I was hugely also proven wrong about the Derrick Henry. He would have a great game running for 2 touchdowns and more than it was either 99 yards and 100 yards, and even get close to that since he was held to a measly 30 yards on 11 carries. And so that's because of a great job by the Eagles, relentless Eagles, strong defense, because highly contained Derrick Henry to a measly 30 yards on 11 carries. And also he did have a run that was like for more than 2 yards, but he never had that common great run where he runs for more than 15 yards, because Eagles defense played great as far as containing him, and strongly they did contain him. 30 yards on 11 carries. That's a great performance. And they weren't able to give Henry the football much because the Eagles' offense was an onslaught where they continued to score points and touchdown. 3 touchdowns in the first half, 2 touchdowns in the second half. So the Titans end up getting outplayed in both the first half and second half. Got outscored in the first half, 21-10 and 14-0. That's how terrible it was for the Titans. The Titans, the Titans even scoring measly 10 points in this embarrassment is a high bar accomplishment, because that was what they were able to do before Burks, their possible great wide receiver that was drafted mainly to replace AJ, the amazing AJ Brown. He ended up getting injured on the play where he officially caught his first pass for a touchdown. Had his first receiving touchdown. And so, yeah, that was very disappointing. Because even if he didn't get injured, maybe the Titans just might keep the game actually dramatic, because The Titans' defense wasn't at all getting pressure on Hurst, who had a large amount of time to throw, easily throwing for more than 110 yards and multiple touchdowns. And AJ Brown wasn't contained in what was a revenge game for amazing AJ Brown, and he looked great. Not surprised. Including he had a great game, including receiving multiple touchdowns. I think it was two touchdowns. Yeah, so it was really, really frustrating as a former Titan, not just for the Titans organization, but also as a Titans fan, because I hear the information that AJ Brown did want to stay with the Titans. He didn't say, no, I don't want to play for the Titans. There wasn't anything about him not wanting to stay with the Titans because of not being happy with the organization, not being able to get his whatever exactly he wanted the Titans to pay him, or whatever whatever he was wanting from the Titans. He wanted to stay with the Titans, except for a reason only known to the Titans, or something I'm going to have to search. I'm going to have to look up for why exactly the Titans decided not to keep A.J. Brown. And it cannot be because of production issues, because it was last season that he was a main reason why the Titans end up continue to win games, even when Derrick Henry was missing more than 4 games. It was him. It was also Julio Jones and Ryan Tannehill, etc. I mean, it was multiple players for offensively, except A.J. Brown was one of those main players. Anyway, so yeah, it was very frustrating because the Titans' offense has not looked the same in the first year after the A.J. Brown era. And I know Burks is going to have to. I have to give time for Burks to develop, so I'm not panicking that he's not the same instant great wide receiver that A.J. Brown was after just one game, because, I mean, he looked great in his debut rookie game, and he showed that wasn't some one-game wonder or fluke in multiple games in the 2018 season, and then proving again that he's a reliable, great wide receiver in the season after that, and the season after that, and the season after that. So I'm not panicking because Burks hasn't shown that he's that great wide receiver that the Titans want him to be. It's going to take time for him to develop. Except, anyways, it's just really very frustrating that the Titans weren't able to sign him, because A.J. Brown, if the Titans were still able to have A.J. Brown, I mean, they would have lost, obviously, Julio Jones, who went to the Buccaneers, except they still would have had A.J. Brown, a great wide receiver, and I think the Titans' offense would, even if it isn't a high score, it would be a hell of a lot better than has been for 13 weeks, where they've been an anemic, embarrassing, low-ranked offense that hasn't been scoring points for most of the games in the second half, which is a primary reason. It's the primary reason they haven't been scoring much points in the second, which is the primary reason why they lost winnable close games to the Bengals, the Giants, the Bengals and the Giants. Also the Chiefs. I mean, I know they had to rely on they still had to rely on they had to rely on Willis to make key throws, except I really think that if they had A.J. Brown, that maybe he would have been able to at least carry the team somewhat and take the pressure off him, including use him for running plays, not just Derrick Henry, or have him not having to make the long throws, and at times be able to get those critical first downs that they needed against the Kansas City Chiefs. So those are 3 winnable close games that I don't doubt at all that if the Titans still had A.J. Brown, that they would have won maybe 2 of 3 of those winnable close games that they lost, or all 3, because A.J. Brown is that freaking an amazing Julio Jones, in the league of Julio Jones in his prime style wide receiver that the Titans had. And they don't have that this season because they have to wait probably a full season for Burks, and maybe, they're going to have to wait for Burks to develop to be that great wide receiver that they want him to be, and Titans fans want him to be. Anyways, it was just very disappointing. So I was still watching the game, except only because this is such an embarrassment. This is so depressing. I'm just going to keep watching, just mainly to see how much worse it's going to get, because I lost all if I recall right, I lost all hope with the Titans were going to keep actually going to compete and make the game close after the Eagles went up 28-10. And I was justified with that because the Eagles, without struggle, also did make it put the nail in the coffin, or showing that there's no damn way that the Titans are even going to get this down to one possession because of scoring that fifth touchdown to make it 35-10. So hats off to the Eagles. They flew very, very, very high, and the Titans were freaking down on the ground, got completely outplayed first half, second half, in both offense, defense, and in both offense and defense. Maybe also special teams. If I looked at, maybe I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles won that field position. But anyways, no doubt at all that they outplayed them offensively, outscoring them 35-10. Outplayed them defensively because the Eagles defense held the Titans to a measly 10 points. The Titans defense gave up 5 touchdowns. 3 of those 5 touchdowns in the first half, 2 touchdowns in the second half. So the Eagles nearly equaled the same amount of touchdowns in the second half that they had in the first half. I mean, they didn't, except they nearly almost had the same amount of that. They still had. So yeah, it was as awful as the score would lead you to believe, and the only two positives I can really say about this game was the fact that the Titans were able to tie this game at 10 points to at least give me some bit of hope that maybe that they would be able to compete and possibly win this high bar challenging game, except they didn't. And also, the Titans defense, even after having given up 21 points, this Titans team didn't just freaking quit and give up. Like, oh, well, we're losing 21-10. We can just give up because we got that division lead. So what the hell we don't have to freaking compete to win this. No, they kept competing because they had the desire to win this game, so they'd have the realistic chance of, if not getting the number 1 seed, then still getting the number 2 seed. So, yeah, I'm very happy that the Titans continued in a game where they just had relentless adversity, because A.J. Brown in a revenge game hit freaking metaphorically 40. He hit 4 home runs and 1 grand slam, metaphorically. He played great. The entire Eagles team outplayed the Titans, showing why they are, by record, the best team in the NFL, and why the Titans, by record, are a team that just most likely is just they're going to win. They're most likely just going to win at what is undeniably an abysmal division. So hats off to. So I'm eating crow because I'm a person that I eat crow because I'm not going to give excuses if I'm proven wrong, because it's just really dumb. It's just really inane, and it's Bush League, and it's the same thing I'd want if other person I disagreed with was proven wrong as far as the game predictions. It was just fair that I do the same, so that I'm not being hypocritical. And also because I know it's right, because I watched the game. The Eagles outplayed the Titans hugely, completely, highly, or greatly, and so I'm giving them credit as they do deserve, as they bulldozed my Titans 35-10. And also another positive I can say for this game is I see that it did result in the Titans GM getting fired. So I am hoping, or cautiously optimistic, that maybe this will result in the exact needed change with better play calling, so that the Titans offense doesn't remain being the pathetic, abysmal, frustrating to watch, anemic offense that they've had for, to be exact, 13 weeks, with only 1 standout game during those 13 weeks. Yes, because except if we just wanted to say of the 12 games they played, because they've had their bye week, the most standout game I can recall them having was where they played a terrible Packers team. So where they easily scored more than 21 points. Again, that's not really saying much, because this is a Packers team that is having their worst year in the Rodgers era, even worse than that rookie year. Because it was just normal, or it was just going to be normal that that the Packers were going to not be a team that has a losing record in Aaron Rodgers' rookie year because he has the growing pains. This year, they really aren't a rebuild. I mean, yeah, they lost Adams and maybe they lost other players, but they didn't lose so many players that they are a rebuilding team. So they don't have a good reason, any good reasons to be a team that's just going to be even lucky to be competing for an NFC wildcard team, which is what they've been reduced to. Not finishing in second place, not competing for that first NFC North. No, they've been reduced to hoping that they can remain as live as much as possible for the remainder of the season, competing for. They're on the outside looking in, competing for a wild card spot. That's what they've been reduced down to because of how terrible the Packers have been. Anyways, credit to the Eagles. They completely outplayed my Titans 35-10. Undeniably, they were the better team by 500 miles by a landslide. Yeah, so I'm really hoping that the Titans' offense changes because I've seen the record against teams with winning records. The only team that they beat with a winning record currently is the Washington Commanders. And so all the other teams where they played with winning records, I'm not surprised that their anemic offense has been that much of a flaw that they haven't been able to defeat teams with winning records given their very low-ranked, pathetic, embarrassing, anemic offense that they've lost to other teams with winning records. To be exact, it's Giants, Eagles, a Bengals team that's playing great, Giants, Eagles, and the Buffalo Bills. So I'm not really surprised that they have if I recall right, a 1-4 record with teams currently that have a winning record, and most of their wins have come against bad teams that have losing records. So that's not going to change if the Titans' offense doesn't improve to just be good. When I say good, we're reliable that they're going to score points in the second half and reliable to score more than 20 points in the second half. If they can do that, then I'll be very damn happy because the Titans' offense for most of the 12 games that they've played has been anemic, pathetic, embarrassing. Has been anemic, dreadful, embarrassing, pitiful, etc. And they don't have any good reason to be to be pathetic, abysmal, pitiful, embarrassing, awful. They don't have any good reason to be that. So I'm hoping with the change that the Titans play calling is better. They execute the better play calling, and the Titans for the remainder of their 5 games that they play that they score more than 20 points in most of those games, just because it'd be something that makes me very. I mean, I know they can not score maybe more than 20 points in multiple games and still make the play. Except I just want something that shows me that that change has resulted in something fruitful, something good for the Titans as far as their offense, that's what I'm hoping for. Because if not, then the Titans are just going to get to the playoffs because they play in an awful division, most likely, and I wouldn't be surprised lose that game to a good team, a winning team, to an undeniable winning team that can score more than 20 points a game. If the Titans haven't gotten that offensive issue fixed, then I won't be surprised when the Titans most likely make the playoffs as a home team and they lose to a team that does have as consistently has at least has a good offense that can score more than 20 points, because the Titans' anemic offense has remained exactly that even after the firing of the Titans GM. So so that wouldn't surprise me. So I'm hoping that the Titans can fix that anemic offense after the firing of the Titans GM, which I'm not surprised at all that happened after 13 weeks, because that happened after 13 weeks, including the Titans scoring a measly 10 points versus the Eagles. Go Titans, tighten up. Can't wait to watch the remaining 5 games that the Titans have because it's a 17 weeks regular season, not a 16 weeks regular season game anymore. Would that change?